in partnership with the Chinese Community Cardiac Council of the American Heart Association. AAMG invited Lilian Tsi Stielstra, who volunteers for the Chinese Community Cardiac Council, to share with the community her story and spread awareness for stroke prevention.
Hello everyone, my name is Lilian. I'm a volunteer with the Chinese Community Cardiac Council. What I'm here to do is to tell you a little bit about my story of having had a stroke and then making the changes in the way I live so that hopefully I don't have another stroke. About 10 years ago, I woke up on a Saturday morning feeling tired. And of course, working full time at the time, I felt tired because, well, I've worked 5 days. So I didn't think very much of it. My left leg felt heavy. I felt pins and needles, numb. And again, I didn't think very much of it because, well, maybe I had a pinched nerve or I slept on the wrong side of the bed or something. But about 10 minutes later, my left arm started feeling numb and I felt the same pins and needles. And again, I thought, okay, well, really, maybe it is a pinched nerve. But in about another 10 minutes, the left side of my face felt numb with the same pins and needles sensation. And if you go to a dentist where they put the anesthesia in your face, it's that feeling, but it's all over on one side. When I started to put all that together, I figured, I think I'm having a stroke. I am very lucky. My husband is a retired fireman. He's also an EMT. He drove me to the emergency room at UCSF, which is only 3 blocks away from our house. Please call 911 if you are having an incident like maybe a cardiac arrest or a stroke. Please call 911. I am just very lucky. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. They were very efficient. They got me in, screened, scanned, and they told me, you had a TIA, a little blood clot in the right side of my brain, which controls the left side of my body. And if that clot were any bigger, I would probably be paralyzed on the left side of my body. I am very lucky because when I was being checked out, the doctor said to me, you're 46 years old. I shouldn't be seeing somebody like you. All you have to do is walk for 30 minutes a day. And at that time, I thought, what? That's so easy. Why didn't anybody ever tell me? And I thought to myself, okay, I can do this. I had to find a time in the day because I am, at the time, working full time. I've got 2 young children, and I had to pick 6 a.m. in the morning to make sure that I would get it done, because if I didn't do it at 6 in the morning, it would just never get done during the day. And my neighbor was very kind. She volunteered to keep me company to walk 5 days a week at 6 a.m. in the morning. And at first, the 30 minutes was really difficult because, well, I'd never exercised. I was lazy and made a lot of excuses. And you tell yourself, you know, you're supposed to do that. But, well, the kids have, soccer, swimming, and then you have to help them with the homework, and then you have to do your own work, and then you have to clean your house, and then you have to do so many things when you're working full time and managing to take care of your house and your children, that you forget to take care of yourself last. You know you're supposed to exercise, you know you're supposed to eat better, but instead, I have a hamburger place on speed dial on my phone because that's the easiest way to get dinner done when I'm just rushing back from work to get home. I also didn't eat very well, and that meant that I was putting a lot of fat, a lot of salt, a lot of not so good foods for my body. I So not only was I not exercising, I wasn't eating well. And by not eating well, I mean I wasn't paying attention to what I'm supposed to be eating. After the stroke, I made a lot of choices about the type of foods I would eat. I grew up eating white rice, and while it's very delicious, it's very good to eat and very tasty with all sorts of sauces, I had to decide that that wasn't something I needed in my body, because the other risk I have is type 2 diabetes. And so white rice is one of those things that dissolve in your body very quickly and turns into sugar. You're not getting the most benefit from that food. When I say benefit, it means giving me energy to do things. Anyway, walking 30 minutes a day. After about a year, I tried jogging. After about, and by this time my neighbor said I can go and walk on my own. But I made little goals. I tried first to say, okay, I'm going to try and run a 5K. There's the Chinatown, Chinese New Year run. I decided to do that with my son. Then I did the Bay to Breakers. So it's not like you can just start out and go out and run. You just really have to start walking. And walking is the easiest exercise anybody can do. You just put on a pair of shoes, whatever clothes you're wearing, you just go out and walk. You can be walking around your neighborhood. The whole point is to be moving and active. It's now been 10 years, and now my exercise is to just go out for a run, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. But I'm not running very fast. I'm just going. I think of it as walking very fast. The whole idea is to get my heart pumping, because my heart is a muscle and it needs exercise. Because I'm exercising more, I feel hungry. And when you feel hungry, you want to just put a lot of food in your body. And that's when you have to be more careful about what you put in your body, because you could put in potato chips, you can put in ice cream, you can put in candy, but it doesn't really help your body stay healthy. Now I use olive oil and vegetable oil. I don't eat a lot of white rice products like rice noodles. It's not that I don't eat it at all. I mean, I'm very careful when I decide to treat myself, because it's a treat to me. The first 5 years, I gave up ice cream, I gave up cake. Two things I love very much. And you make that choice because you want to see your children grow up. You want to see them graduate from college. And my son just finished his 4th year, and he's graduated from Berkeley. So I'm very proud and getting a little emotional. So what else do I eat if I'm not eating white rice? I choose brown rice. I choose buckwheat. There's something called quinoa. There's also something called farro. I don't eat all these things every day. It's just a different thing each time. And it's just discovering what sort of foods are out there. And these are what are called whole grains, which take a long time for your body to digest. So when you eat, it sits in your stomach and it takes a long time, and you feel full. So you don't feel like you have to keep eating all the time. And I don't eat a lot of fatty foods. Once in a while, I'll go out and I do have a hamburger, and I don't ask how much fat is in the hamburger. I just enjoy it. I have bacon on it, but it's not an everyday thing, nor is it an every week thing, maybe once a month. A lot of typical Asian foods that I grew up with, like soy sauce, pork, chicken, things that are also very high in sodium, I've also cut back a lot. And that is mostly to help my blood pressure be under control. I was taking medication for high blood pressure. And actually about 3 years ago, my blood pressure has normalized so much, my doctor said, I don't have to take the pills anymore. I think that a lot of people don't want to make changes. Myself, as an example, when I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, all I was given was a prescription. Here's a pill you can take to lower your blood pressure. Nobody told me I should eat less salty food. Nobody said I should exercise. They just gave me a pill. And sometimes that's too easy for us. I wish I had, actually, I think I knew, but the pill made it so easy. And I want people to know that you shouldn't have to wait till you have a stroke. You shouldn't have to wait till you're in a wheelchair going into a hospital room in the ER to find out that, oh, hey, your life could be over, or you could be paralyzed. That's not fun. That is not a good feeling. And how can somebody, what would motivate somebody to make a change? Just think about the ability to go for a walk. Just think about if you like to go on holidays, you can go and visit museums or, visit some interesting places. You need to be able to walk around. Why do you don't want to go on holiday in a wheelchair? And you probably can't if you're in a wheelchair. So that's my main thought right now is I don't ever want to be in a wheelchair. I just want to be able to keep moving, keep traveling, keep going to see places. It's been very hard with COVID, but we are very lucky to be in the US where there's so much parks and open space that we can find that space to just go out for a walk even. I think it's not difficult to make changes to what you eat. You just don't have to do everything all at once. Just pick one thing at a time. Maybe we start with looking at everything that you eat and then saying, okay, maybe I shouldn't eat ice cream 3 nights a week. And say, okay, what if I cut back from 3 nights a week to 1 night a week? Okay, we try that. So it's very hard, but it's one thing that you started on. And once you've succeeded, and it only takes 3 weeks for your taste buds to realize, oh, I'm not getting ice cream 3 times a week. When your body learns that, then you move on to the next thing. Well, what can I give up? Oh, I eat white rice 5 nights a week. Well, maybe I can change it to 1 night a week. I will try brown rice. Something else that I just started doing because of dining out. We've had to dine out a few times. And during COVID, I wanted to support, our local restaurants. I normally don't dine out a lot, but when we travel, we have to eat out. What I do is when I look at the menu items, I look at what is something that the restaurant would have to cook fresh, not something that's been sitting in a pot. And then I ask them, can you cook it for me with little or no salt? And that is helping me with controlling my salt intake for maintaining my good high blood pressure. So you can ask restaurants to cook food for you with less salt and maybe even less sugar, and most restaurants are very good. They're like, oh yeah, no problem. Some things they can't do, but you do what you can. And whenever you have the opportunity to control the amount of salt, amount of fat, amount of, that you're taking in and the type of fat that you're taking in, then that's what I would encourage. As for exercise, it's, walking 30 minutes a day. We have 24 hours in a day. What is, 30 minutes in that whole day? It's nothing. You can do it. You just have to find the time to do it. If you're working, my suggestion is to start early in the morning, get it done, and then go on with your day. Because once you get into your job, once you get into your daily routine, it's very hard to then at the end of the day say, oh, I'm so tired now. I think I'll walk tomorrow. That can happen. So if you get it done first thing in the morning, then you have no excuse. It's done. You've taken care of it. And also what I learned is that once I got into the habit of walking 30 minutes a day, there are days when when it's raining or too cold or too hot, and I would say, oh, so hot, so tired, I don't want to go. But then I know that once I put my shoes on and once I do go out for that walk, and when I come back, I feel so much better. Like whatever, stress I had for the day, it's gone because I went out and took that 30 minutes to give my heart the exercise it needs. Stroke is one of the leading causes of disability. And I do want to encourage people to recognize the signs of stroke, because it's very important that you know what's going on and that you know you have to get to a hospital fast. So the American Heart Association actually has come up with a simple acronym: FAST: face, arm, speech, and time. So if you find your face is drooping on one side, that's a sign. If your arm is not as strong on one side, that's a sign. Speech: you think you're saying something, but then the person that you're talking to doesn't understand what you're saying because you're making noises and nothing intelligent is coming up to them. So something is wrong. And time is very important. It's recommended that you get to the hospital within 3 hours of observing or noticing these signs. The faster you can get there, the better. Call 911. Time is time to call 911. There are also other signs. Basically a stroke is a blood clot going to a part of your brain. So, it could go to the part of the brain that controls your vision, and you're getting suddenly very blurry vision or headaches. But I was very lucky that mine was on one side of the body and it's very obvious. The main thing is to pay attention and know your body and know how it's supposed to function. And then when it's not doing the right thing, then it's time to really get help. I suggest that you don't be afraid to ask for help, because your life is on the line and it's important to get to the ER if you're experiencing a stroke. The other type of stroke, which is a hemorrhagic stroke, where a blood vessel bursts in your head, those are very difficult. There are people who survive them. My brother-in-law didn't, but it's one of those things where suddenly you're losing your vision, suddenly you're having massive headaches. I know of a runner who was running a race, and all of a sudden his legs started cramping up and twitching, and nobody knew what was happening to him. He was having a hemorrhagic stroke. So it happens to anyone and nobody knows why, but that's 20% of the types of strokes out there. 80% of the strokes out there, I call it the type that you do it yourself. Basically, you ate, you didn't exercise, you didn't eat well, you put a lot of stress on your body, and you get high blood pressure, and then suddenly you have this extra blood clot traveling around your body and giving you problems. I want to share this story so that you can take a look at how you live and see what changes you can make. It could be very simple. It could be one thing, it could be two things, but it's not difficult, and it's never too late. It's never too late, to say, okay, I'm 70 years old now, I'm going to learn how to swim. People do that. So I want to encourage everyone to take charge of your body, take charge of your health. And don't be afraid when you go to a doctor if they just prescribe you a pill and say, oh, you have high blood pressure, take a pill. Ask them, what else can I do besides taking a pill? Because really, pills only fix a small bit of it. You have to change your approach to eating and living a healthier life.